You're lucky it left you with a charge. Get up, Zinger. The night is young.
Hey there people, Zinger here, and welcome to Buckshot Roulette, the newest indie sensation, and my new favorite horror game, where you play Russian roulette with a 12-gauge shotgun against the literal personification of addiction. Despite how short this game is, it's wormed its way into my brain like a tumor and tells me I need to gamble. Everything about it, from the gameplay to the sound design and music, tickles my skull in a way that I can't quite explain. It's the newest entry in Mike Klubnika's catalog of games, and newest entry into the universe's previous work on Sordid Horror setup. Totally not something that was done retroactively by way of adding this logo BTW. Obviously sharing the same dirty industrial aesthetic of the unsorted horror games, although you could almost say that's more just his style than anything. I don't fucking know. It's a game that you begin to master as you get more and more invested in it. I'm gonna be honest, it took me a couple attempts to beat the dealer for the first time, but it was constantly replaying it which taught me little tricks like whenever new shells rotated, you're guaranteed the first turn. Meaning by playing things smart and with a little luck, you can get a lot of damage done on the dealer simultaneously. But that's the thing, this game plays on RNG heavily, meaning you can memorize all the shells and try to play things using your head, but sometimes it will just come down to luck. So here I was, little old Zinger thinking, fuck, I want to try get that $1,000,000 achievement. I'm trying to join that 1.4% of players. But here's the thing, I may be Irish, but I'm not fucking lucky. And this game plays heavily on the luck factor, which turns a task like this from something fun to something that makes me want to pull my fingernails out. Oh, for fuck's sake. So instead of doing that like I originally planned, we're gonna do something different. Instead, I'm going to explain to you everything about Buckshot Roulette's mechanics and teach you how to triumph over this bitch-ass dealer. So, without further ado, let's dive straight into the Buckshot Roulette experience. So you want to win. Make it out with honestly a pretty shit amount of money. Opening the game, you don't get any double or nothing mode, any stats or scoreboards. No, this game does something that I actually respect a lot. It sits you down and forces you to beat it once normally before it lets you loose into the rest of its content. This first throwdown with the dealer is a bit of a tutorial. You're talked through the game, its rules, and okay, so maybe it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. God is dead. Humanity killed him. Not in a literal sense, mind you, more of a metaphorical way. Humanity's nature, its need for vices like gambling, hedonist actions, that sort of thing. Look at the world this game and unsorted horror sets up. It's a godless and dying one. If you die in the final round, you're brought before the pearly gates, except now they're not so pearly. Heaven has been corrupted, twisted and decaying. It reminds me of a nuclear spike field, a concept that was used to convey whether an area was used for dumping nuclear waste. Nuclear spike fields were meant to indicate shunned land. Pretty much something that looked so wrong it'd fire off warning signals in your brain that maybe you shouldn't venture here. Dubbed nuclear semiotics, a field of research aimed at coming up with long-term nuclear waste warnings. Nuclear spike fields were just one of the many ideas aimed at tackling this issue, and I think it's cool to see something reminiscent of that in-game, representing something wrong with heaven as a whole. Anyway, moving on, the initial matchup as stated is basically a tutorial where you're taught the mechanics and rules. Standard free rounds with a preset increasing increment of lives as you progress. Items are a vital part of the roulette experience, and something worth noting is the tutorial actually gatekeeps some items found in double or nothing mode. The tutorial only has access to handcuffs, saws, cigarettes, and beer. Side note, but I think it's fucking hilarious how you can see how much beer you've drank and how many cigs you've smoked, keeping an actual stat. Clearly Mike has his priorities straight.
Alrighty, so today I'm gonna be day drinking and smoking cigarettes.
Anyway, beat the dealer, make it out with your money, plus the shotgun, simple. Once that's done, you're able to reload the game and... oh.
Thank you for calling VOLTA Standard Electronics General Helpline. All of our operators are currently occupied. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday and...
What you've just heard was the final part in a weird string of threads that any normal person would overlook. Buckshot has a fucking ARG. The VOLTA terminal. Its boot screen contains a contact email, which is the first and most important piece of this puzzle. The address, when mailed, replies with the following. Greetings, and thank you for reaching out to VOLTA Standard Electronics, the perpetual pioneers of technology. Our VOLTA Standard Electronics helpline is specifically designed to help you with any question you might have. For example, here's what we found regarding your query. In case of any new developments, VOLTA Standard Electronics helpline will reach out to you directly. We'll return to this in a moment. For now, let's check out the web address attached to the VOLTA email. The VOLTA website doesn't have much to write home about. What we're here for is the number. When you ring it, it plays the audio track I teased at the beginning of this chapter. With all that said, I want to return to the email. Specifically the mumbo jumbo in the middle of it. Deciphering it reveals the following. They won't ever forgive me, or will I not forgive myself? I made a wish upon a falling star, and it brought me nothing but misery. The machine hungers, fed by booming shots and blood and luck. It is fed constantly. It's chewing, metallic and vile, and still it brings more comfort than the dance of hell below. I think it's obvious what the text is referring to. The dealer, the literal personification of addiction and the misery it can bring. The second line likely in reference to being careful of what you wish for. You go in looking for money and glory and can lose so much. I don't know what the third line actually references. It could probably refer to a lot of things, such as the society the game takes place in, or again, the dealer. The email reminds me a lot of another one of Club Nika's games, if only tangentially. That being... Tartarus Engine is one of the games from Unsorted Horror. To read from its description in the collection, it is a short horror game about a monumental computer, designed for imitating eternal torment. You play as a technician and a group of people that set out to tap into a vulnerability in said computer. It's entirely unrelated to Buckshot, aside from being set in the same universe. But the email kinda dragged it to the forefront of my mind. That's pretty much all I have to say on this at this time. For all I know, the multiplayer update could add more to this little ARG and make everything I said here irrelevant. So, Lamau. The dealer's AI is quite simple, running on a few basic principles. Delightful Kiss Boy did a great rundown on how it works in a video of his, but to sum it up, the dealer uses items ASAP. The dealer uses items in a random order. If the dealer knows what shell is next, he plays accordingly. Otherwise, the dealer pretty much flips a coin to decide how he acts. He always knows the last shell of any load, and he knows the next shell after using a magnifying glass. Now, despite the first rule stating he will use items as soon as he can, if he has full health, he obviously won't smoke some cigs because that would be retarded. However, there are glitches, like going from magnifying glasses into using a beer, which bugs his AI because he'll still think the racked round is loaded. Taking the pills in the bathroom once you beat the dealer for the first time enters you into double or nothing mode, which is pretty much an endless mode, randomizing lives and the amount of shells each round, making each playthrough unique. Going over items, to start out we have beer, handcuffs, handsaws, cigarettes, and the magnifying glass. Double or Nothing has access to the additional items of burner phones, expired medicine, inverters, and adrenaline. To give a quick rundown of each item, beer allows you to rack the shell currently loaded on the shotgun while keeping your turn. Handcuffs, use these to take an extra turn by cuffing the dealer. Handsaws, turn the shotgun into a sawed-off, doing double damage. Cigarettes, heal 1 health. Magnifying glass, take a peek at whatever is currently loaded in the shotgun. And because I'm lazy, here's a list of everything added in the 1.2 update. Now remember, items play a huge role in this game, as they can really make or break a run. There's been many times where I didn't account for the dealer having an inverter and got ass blasted because of that. Pyrocynical mentioned in his video about being a sweat with Excel spreadsheets, but that really doesn't cut it because of the new items, which can completely throw out the ratio of lives to blanks. You can't even properly predict how the dealer will use his items either, because he might use adrenaline and throw a curveball by stealing and using one of your own. And yeah, that's pretty much everything to know so far. As I said, the multiplayer update will likely be coming soon after this video releases, so there's never been a better time than now to get into Buckshot Roulette. Anyway, allow me to close out this video.
Read the border, makes it one. We predict